925thebeat.com.
92.5 The Beat of Salt Lake is DreRawka. I got a very special guest in the studio tonight. My man, he has a new single out. It's called Ocean. Now, when he played it for me, I was like, ooh, you got real nasty in this thing. I got my man, Davenchy in the building.
Hello, what's good, 92?
Welcome back to Rawk The Mic, man. Our
Thank
chance
you.
to showcase our local talent here, man. You sent me a single called Ocean. You got real nasty on it. What inspired the single?
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I've always loved R&B, and so when I heard the beat, like I have other songs that I made R&B like, but when I heard it, I was like, this is something like you got to get like real sexual to. Just to be completely honest. So when I heard it, I was like, okay. And then Federo, who's the songwriter, the hook, the person who made the hook, I was like, yeah, I got something for this, and just heard it and just flipped on the switches, got to writing.
Well, it's a great song.
Appreciate
We're going
it.
to be playing it coming up shortly, so make sure you stick around. But when I hear the name David Davenchy, I instantly think of like a Greek god. Now, obviously, I'm assuming you ain't Greek. You ain't the Greek freak.
No.
But is this a government name?
No. So David is, but Davenchy's not.
Where'd this come from?
So honestly, like, I don't know. I just wanted something that stuck out. Something that like you can't really I didn't really have to worry about marketing, or I didn't really have to worry about like going to search for. Like, I was like, I love making music, and I wanted it to be like the return of like real rap or real R&B. And go back to that. So I was like, Davenchy and like Renaissance. So that's really where it kind of originated from. But I was like, I don't want it to be spelled like, Leonardo da Vinci. I just spelled it like Givenchy at the end. So that's kind of where it initiated from.
You mentioned R&B. The Ocean single, you're singing. But you also sent me some other records where you're actually rapping.
Yeah.
So how did you get versatile? Because usually one artist knows one thing. It's one or the other.
Honestly, just all the R&B and hip hop that I listened to growing up. I think having different pockets, to be completely honest with you, is just overflowing my childhood with music. Just always listening to music. I think my R&B like originated for sure from like T-Pain, Chris Brown, and like them. And then like some of my rap stuff was just like, which one of the singles that if you play it, you'll hear like Bow Wow, or even like not The Game, but like I just listened to rap like that, Drake, Kendrick Cole. Like there was just so many inspirations. So my music catalog was flooded at an early age, and that's really where I just kind of just poured into it. And it was like a melting pot.
You can hear it.
Yeah,
You can hear it in your music. It's dope. No, you're
you.
very versatile. I think that's really cool. I think that's something that artists should be more willing to explore. Right? Don't just put yourself in a box. Don't just rap 100 bars.
Yeah,
Like give us a melody. I think that's dope. And those artists that you mentioned, T-Pain, he can rap and he can sing. Chris Brown, he can rap and he can sing. Right? All great artists that go far. So I think if you're versatile, there's more that you can get from that.
Yeah.
Do you think R&B is represented in 2023?
When you say represented, like what do you mean? Like in the essence, like
Well, growing up, right? So back in my day, it was SWV, right? Just a lot of harmonizing type of R&B that you would hear on the mainstream. Do you think that mainstream is representing R&B right now? Or
now
R&B?
it's getting back to where it is with these newer artists. Like I'll say with like Money Long, Chloe Bailey, LMA, Teyana Taylor, or even like Bryson Tiller with some of his trap soul stuff, Jacquees. Like it's getting to that point, but it's not like the Omarions, the Chris Browns, the Marios that we like the early 2000s had. It's not there yet, but it's getting back to there where music, like R&B music, is sticking. Like it's now staying. It's just not constant, and then we're just throwing stuff out. It's getting back to where you can let songs marinate. Even stuff like Summer Walker's catalog, you can let it marinate, and you'll still want to go back and listen. Like the replay value's there.
I think a guy that does it very well too is Vito.
Vito is crazy.
Yeah.
Vito is crazy. And I forgot to even mention him, but I like his stuff, especially the song "Do You Mind" with Chris Brown. He did a sample. I forgot what it was. He sampled. Oh shoot, I just forgot it. It just left my head. But it was a crazy song. But I do listen to Vito a little bit.
Are you a Suns fan?
No, actually, I'm a Celtics fan. The only reason why I wore this was because it matched the it matched the Rod Wave shirt. Okay, I'm part from Florida, so I got a second home. So I was like, let me throw on something. But Celtics, seaside is where it's at.
Were you born in Florida?
No, I was actually born here, but I lived in Florida like the other part of my life, like probably 7-6 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whether it's like adolescent years?
Yeah, like late high school, so junior, senior year on out.
You got family out there?
Mm-hmm. Sister and some other people. just friends, but mostly, yeah.
Were you was music alive in the household growing
Oh
up?
yeah, like from a young age, like just out the womb with it. Like my grandparents were always playing blues, jazz, or like R&B, and then parents was playing Temptations, Supremes, and like Tupac. Like I could hear it all in the car, and then I had my mom always playing gospel. It was Kirk Franklin, Fred Hammond, or Cheryl, Sheard. So
Mm.
it's just I heard it all. Like I said, I was flooded with music at an early age. Like I couldn't not hear things.
So what does mom think about Ocean when she hears her son getting
I don't even
crazy on
think
it?
like I think my sisters played it, but I don't think she's ever heard it. She's never heard it, but she heard some of my other stuff, and she's like, that's really dope. But Ocean, she's not. She's like, no. She's gonna be like my baby. Like she gonna be like, what are you experiencing? I'm like, bro, like it's just R&B, man. It's just an updated version, I guess.
Yeah, I think that there's a time when you grow up, right? And your parent,
Yeah.
I'm a father, right? So I see
Yeah.
my son right now. He's 10, and I'm like, he's gonna start to experience girls and whatnot. And it's like, oh man, like, am I ready as a father? And I'm putting myself in your mom's shoes,
Yeah.
where she's just, hey, my daughter just sent me a link. Oh, it's my son. Oh, let me hear his new song.
And then she gonna like, I don't want her to have no heart attack, no nothing crazy. Like, yeah, that was your boy.
Was she is she very much, because you mentioned gospel, is she very much in the church?
Oh yeah, but like she's more of like, God's within you. You gotta carry him with you in your acting, and what you do and how you move and how you operate. So that's very important. But yeah, she was heavily involved in church growing up.
Is that, just make sure you speak right into that mic,
Oh
brother.
yeah, she was heavily involved.
Are you religious?
I'm Christian, yeah, for sure, without a doubt. But like, I know my walk with God is definitely different, because like I honestly feel like God forgives, God understands, and God has his path for everybody. And so when you have your own path, you gotta, go with whatever the chips fall where they may.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, like, I learned that from watching my mom and even my dad, especially. It's just like, everybody has their own walk, and everybody's walk is different. You can't judge or condemn somebody else's walk, and you can't be too hard on your walk because that's yours. You got to own it and just roll with it and take it and build upon it every day. Build your foundation.
Now I got David Davenchy, artist and producer. We're gonna be playing his song "Ocean" coming up soon. But you mentioned your father. You mentioned your mom and not being hard on yourself. Is there ever a time where you do get hard on yourself? And if so, how do you get out of it?
Easily music. Every single thing I do musically. Easily. And it sucks because I think as an artist, I think most artists can say this. We try to go even look for validation to see like, because we can always be in the studio like with the engineer and be like, how does this sound? And they can be like, oh, that sounds good. That sounds this. But there's times like even as an artist, like I'm very nitpicky. Like there's times like I'll go make a song and I'll play it about 100 times in like a few days. I'll go back to the studio and make it again because I just didn't like how I punched this part, or I need to go edit this part, or I need to go tweak that. So I'd say music's for sure one of the things I'm overly hard on myself, and it's regardless, I still get good feedback, but I'm still not satisfied. Like I'm hungry, like, oh nah, we can add some more to that, or we could fix that, or we could tweak that. That's probably one of the things for sure.
Do you, when you're in the studio, do you have an idea, like a melody that you want to work with, or when you hit the studio, when you jump into your computer, are you like fresh page, fresh canvas, and just throw the paint?
So from the production side, from the producer side, it's always a fresh page, fresh canvas. If I hear like, sometimes I'll go through melodies. Like if I hear something, then I'll just put it into my Akai and then just get on the pad and start building drums around it, and then maybe add like an overlaying melody. But that's just like, it's always a fresh page with that one. With, I think, actually like being the artist, like on that side of it, it's more of like, if I hear a beat, I find a melody for it. And sometimes it'll be melodies that have already been used, and I'll just be like, nah, I could probably fit it and just make this melody and then tweak it and make it my own. Or it'll be like, I'll just make it completely from scratch. So it does vary. It just depends on what I'm working on that day or at that time. So like beats, it's always a fresh canvas. It's just whatever I hear and how I'm feeling, I'll just go with that melody, with the artistry of it.
Do you often collab with people? Like, are you a part of any artist groups or anything like that?
So right now I'm part of Save the Camp 77 or Camp 777. That's 3 7. I forgot. But yeah, we're just starting out now. I have worked with different groups in the state. I've worked with Glow Up. They're excellent. They got their stuff docked. Dre Taylor just dropped his last project, and that was fully solid. Now, but with Camp 77, I got Percy, I got Lou Soul, and I got Tay Lalo. They definitely got some stuff that's working, and we're gonna build something. I'm gonna try to make a couple beats for them.
So these are artists, not producers?
Yeah, these are artists in the city.
Okay.
Producers that I've worked with is Leandro Levels. He's actually based out of West Valley. Very low key. I've known him since I was yay high, like since I was like 8 years old. He's super, super tough. He does a lot of West Coast beats, but he's got some R&B stuff, and he's got some sample stuff that goes crazy. Right now, I'm currently getting ready to work on something with Esther.
Oh, okay.
With her, and then obviously K the Dog. So yeah, that's pretty much just, I've worked with just about everybody I can. I think next on my list is like Mike Styles. I would like to work with him for sure.
Yeah,
that'd definitely be one.
Just hearing your beats and knowing his energy and what he brings, I think you guys would knock it out the park.
And there's something I got for him, and I'm like, if I can just get it to him, I definitely would. It's a crazy.
Well, that's easy.
Yeah.
What's the holdup?
Shoot, I mean, honestly, I don't know. We tried. You know, it's crazy. We actually tried to get together, and I think a family emergency, something emergency came up at the time. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna get back to you when I can," and I was like, for sure. Like, I don't really take it personally. Like, yeah. I'm like, if timing is everything in this, so it's like you just gotta move with it. If you can't have it then, it'll happen later. If it doesn't happen later, it's not supposed to happen at all. Yeah. So, I mean, it's nothing bad. I think he just had a lot going on at the time, and so we just couldn't get it done. But I know once I get him a couple of them from my stash, I think he'll.
Yeah, no, you're great, bro.
Appreciate it.
Mike, get back to him, man. Stop playing. Nah, I think that's important not to take things personal, right? I've been in this city my whole life. I've been in the industry since 2005. Mm-hmm. And I've seen a lot of different waves of people, and I've seen a lot of different things happen to where you could take some things personal, right? And I've been victim of that. I felt like, oh, why not me, right? And I think it's important not to take things personal, understand that time is everything, but not to stop your journey as well, So I think that's very healthy. How do you manage your mental health, throughout this whole thing?
Just the gym, just going to work out in general. I feel like, in a sense, music is my mental health. Like, I put my mental health into my music, and so I think, like, when you put it into something you care about, it's what's the word? Like, it's easier to get through things. Like, everybody has a 9-to-5, everybody got like their life problems, but I can just go right to some musical source or some musical thing and just work with that, and nothing really matters at that point. It's not like necessarily a numbness, because mental illness is a serious thing, but it's more like a getaway, more like okay, I can take the pain that I'm using and put it to something useful, in a sense.
I got David Davenchy, artist and producer, in the studio right now. We're gonna be playing his song Ocean. It's a new single that you can stream everywhere right now. Now, it was on your Apple Music page. One thing I didn't see was no album. Is there an album coming? Is Ocean a part of a bigger project?
So yes, it is. I'm hoping, if everything goes according to plan, before the end of October. But unfortunately, I was trying to get a sample cleared. Can't get the sample cleared, so I might have to do without one song. Ironically, it was a Ludacris sample. So, and I got the bread for it, everything. I got the paperwork already ready to go. We're waiting on the second publishing team, the third publishing team, to approve it, which is Universal Music Group's final publishing team. So if I can get that cleared, cool. If I can't, I just gotta roll without it and just save it for the next project.
Is that a put off from using samples as a producer and as an artist?
Like, what do you mean?
So knowing that you have a project ready to go, right? But the thing that's holding you back is just a clearance, right? Does that hold you back as an artist from using other samples going forward?
No, because I think like, you just, as an artist, you're a creator. Figure it out. There's some things you're gonna have to go without, and you just have to create off of that and fuel off of that. Like, okay, they may not give me that chance this time, but if another song blows up, they might look at it and reconsider and be like, okay, we can probably do this. But it's getting to a point now where older songs, whether it's people like Ludacris, I'm not saying he's the one that has to clear it, but like, it's getting to where now songs are like being sampled, And a lot of these artists aren't actually liking their samples that are being sampled in the song, like their
Mhm.
portion. So some of them will come back and say, it's not good. I'm not rocking with it. And it's crazy because with the song that I sampled for Ludacris, both his publishing team and the Disturbing the Peace publishing team, which is a part of his record label, they both cleared it. They're like, we like the song and we're ready to roll. We just have to wait for Universal to clear it. So it's always like you got to go up one step. But I feel like it's hard as an artist, but at the end of the day, you just got to fight through it. If it don't work, hold it and just keep holding it. And then once it finally breaks through, you just drop it.
Did you go to school for this? For
I
music?
am currently for recording technology and industry work.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, I'm thinking about samples and stuff. A lot of people that I talk to, they don't know the ins and outs about that.
You have to, because those cease and desist will come so quick if your song blows up. That's what happened with what's his name? He just got sent to jail on a murder bid. Superstar Pride. That's exactly what happened. And I don't remember what song he sampled, but it was for that song 2 a.m. The night's still young. You live by the gun, you're gonna die by the gun. In the sample, he got a cease and desist, and so it dropped from billboards. He was in the top 10. He broke top 10. It dropped from billboards until he got that cleared, and then they put it back into it. So there's a lot of things that go into it, like royalties are involved, what percentage of ownership, a lot of ins and outs. So if you don't know your stuff and you drop a song that doesn't have clearance and somebody hears that's up there, you getting a cease and desist.
It's bad news. You put in all that work for nothing.
Yeah.
But you got a name, I guess.
You got a name and it's cool. It's like, it's hot. Now you got to just perform it as a SoundCloud hit. No disrespect to SoundCloud. It's just, you got to perform it as that. You can't make money off of it in no way, shape, or form.
It's less professional.
Yeah. And most people don't know it. And so it's like, ignorance is bliss. But like, most people don't know it. But it's one of those things where I was like, even in my beats, I like to use samples.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's one of those things where I tell artists, look, bro, there is a sample in this. Tread lightly. Get it cleared. If you can't get it clear, I can take it out. I can find a way to make another melody like it, and it'll still make your flow the same. So you just got to be smart with it.
David Davenchy up here with me, 92.5 The Beat of Salt Lake. We're going to be playing his new single, Ocean, here shortly, so make sure you stick around. Now, oftentimes, artists stay in their room. How important is it for an artist to be outside, to mix and mingle, to network, to go to shows?
It's very important, as much as I hate it. I do my marketing via the internet and just let that do it. And then if I get a call or there's a show in the city and I want to be a part of it, if I can be a part of it, I'll go to it. If I can't, I understand. But like, it's one of those things that is very important to be seen. As much as artists claim that they don't want to be seen, this is the life you chose. Like, you want to make music, this is what comes with it. This is now not only your job, this is your brand. This is everything that you wanted. So now you have to deal with the repercussions of it. Really, honestly, I can't say it's very important. It's high up there, and more artists need to put it up there, even including myself.
Yeah, I do too. But it's hard, man.
No, it is. It is
to get me out of my house.
To get me out of the house or the studio, I'm like, if it's not the house, the studio, the gym, or work, like I'm not even really caring. But like, I was like, well, if it's a show, if it's an opportunity, show means opportunity, and not every opportunity is going to be the one you think, but it's just an opportunity to show your face, to just say, hey, I'm here.
I think just getting outside is an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I honestly, like, we don't know what we have until it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So God forbid something happens and you're not able to go outside. I bet you're going to wish you could be going outside. Right? And you don't know what opportunities come. You don't know who you're going to bump shoulders with. You don't know whose card you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
You might meet the right person to direct you to the right person. You know what I mean? So I encourage everybody to try to get outside as much as possible, including myself. I need to be better at it. Speaking about being outside, did you hear about all the stuff that's going on with Lizzo? So some unprofessionalism, allegedly.
I didn't think I was going to catch that question.
Allegedly. Now, as an artist yourself, does this make you think about how you move with other artists and other people?
I think even back to, like, I guess let me just give a male figure in this sense. The stuff with Chris Brown, the stuff with Tory Lanez, the stuff with, I feel like any artist, you need to watch your circle and you need to watch what you say, watch what you do. Because the people you hire, the people that you're around, people can change.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that her allegations are true. I'm not saying her allegations are false. Like, I don't know that area, but I do know one thing is it's very important going back to what, how your parents raised you. Like, you gotta watch how you move. Everybody's watching you. All eyes are on you at all times. The moment you slip up, somebody has a new story. And this world that we live in now, the social media is quick. They're gonna have a new story on you faster than you think.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess being outside is important, but what you're doing outside as well is more important. Because if it's something that could affect you and your team and affect you and your bag, you gotta go in. You're gonna ruin it for everybody, pretty much. You're gonna ruin it for everybody. If you're the meal ticket, as much as artists don't want to admit they are a meal ticket to some people around them, and you go and ruin everybody else's bag because of your decisions, it could cause a lot of harm, cause a lot of damage. So being outside and what you're doing outside is very important.
You got to move smart.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. Now, being in Utah, right? Of course, you had your little stint over there in Florida, but being from Utah, being in Utah, why don't you think we've seen a national artist come out of Utah? Now, we've had some glimmers, right? There's some guys.
If you say, not even Post Malone, even to say, because he was from South Jordan, no? Was he not?
No, he's not from Utah at all. I think he was born and raised out of Dallas.
But I thought he lived in Utah for like a long time. He went to high school out here or something.
No.
See, I heard Post Malone was.
Who told you this?
See, it was a lot of cap.
Yeah, it's all cap. They fed you all the cap.
I was like, bro, I don't know if that's true or not, but I never knew. Honestly, we haven't had. If we're just talking strictly music, I don't know if we ever had a. Well, actually, what about that dude from American Idol? Like years back, like almost a decade back.
David Archuleta?
Yeah. Whatever happened to him?
That's my point. Why don't you think we've had a national artist that transcends over the nation? Somebody that, the way that you mentioned Post Malone, the way that you mentioned Vito, Chris Breezy, right? These kind of people. Why don't you think we've had that type of artist?
I'm gonna say that maybe their marketing team sucks. I'm gonna say not even that. I think another reason is we let out, and this might sound disrespectful, but I think we let outsiders come in here and run stuff. And that's no disrespectful to any outsider that has came in here and built a name for themselves here in a small state and then branched out, which by all means, like, pay homage to at least the state of Utah. But like, I think it's one of those things where like everybody's so clicked up. Everybody's jumping on the next wave. And if we as a city maybe came together and just said, bump egos, bump this group, bump that group, and we just actually came together and just made like one collective, we'd probably blow up in 2 years rather than 22 years. The way ATL did it with the Migos, with Yachty, with Lil Baby, with Rilo, the way Detroit did it with Motown, in Hitsville, when you had Supremes, the Temptations, even the Jackson 5, like they did it as a city. Even though they weren't from those places, people came in from those other places and came there because they knew what was there and they worked with them. So if we got outsiders to work more with people in the city a lot more and got involved and collaborative, I think we would make a better chance for ourselves in the next 2 years.
I agree with some of what you said. I think that collaboration is important, but I also think that I think now's the time. We got a lot of talent,
especially after All-Star Weekend. It should have been the time then.
A lot of talent, right? People are working. I think it's just about putting your money where your mouth is right now, right? So, you mentioned all those groups that you're working with, right? How many of those groups know these other groups, right? And many?
That's the thing. They some of them do know them. Some of them know each other, and they just feel like, nah, I don't want to collaborate with them, or nah, I don't want to collaborate with them, or I'm kind of in my own lane. They're not in my pocket. And respect is given, respect to each. You know your lane, you know your role, you know how you move. But that's what's hindering a lot of things, is because we're not at least willing to try. And that's one of the things, is like we all so clicked up. And I can even say it myself, I've done it too. But we're all so clicked up and used to this thing that if we're scared that if we try this, it's not going to work. And then we just end up ruining it for us. Like, what's the point of even trying? Why did I even do this? This was a dumb idea.
Well, I think you just move smart.
Yeah.
Right? You just move smart. But I also think that you gotta lead by example. If you say you want collaboration, collab. If you say you want people to work together, you gotta put forth the effort. You know what I mean?
I think another thing is too, is like money talks. I'm one of those people, like I'll be 100% honest. Like, I'm one of those people, like, if I don't reach out for the collab, and you reach out to me because you know what I'm doing, I do ask for compensation.
Yeah.
But I know that on the back end of that compensation, you're going to get everything you need and then some to where you're going to want to come back and collaborate again. Like most people that I work with, whether it's a photographer, a videographer, for some of my stuff, like, or even my engineers, like I make sure they get paid off the rip by the time I either leave out that door, but before I walk in there, because it's like, this is business. This is my name's out there. Like you said, how you move. It's one of those things. So I think paper is also attached to that. It's like most people will be like, well, let's talk funds. And that's where people's hands get shaky. That's where people get nervous because it's like, oh, I don't know if you're going to throw a wild price at it. And it's like, you got to be ready for that price if you want that type of collaboration. You got to be ready for certain things.
Yeah.
So I think that's another thing too, is like, it's definitely money related as well.
Bring value. Now I got David Davenchy up here. We're going to be jumping to his new single, Ocean. I'm really excited to play it here on 92.5 The Beat. But before we do that, I want to jump into a segment called This or That.
Okay.
A little nod to Black Sheep, right? So I'm going to give you a this or that,
Yeah.
and you have to tell me which one you want to go with.
Okay.
All right? First one is Nike or Adidas?
Nike, off rip.
That was really quick.
Nike, off rip. I need the deal. I need the deal.
Checks over stripes, he said. Nas or Jay-Z?
After this 7-year stint with Hit Boy, I'm going to go Nas. So Nas.
Okay. That last project was nice.
Yes.
All
It's
right.
5-year, I should say. 5-year. Like
RSL game or Utah Jazz game?
Utah Jazz. No disrespect.
I feel like RSL's crowd's more hype, though.
They're definitely more hype. I went to one RSL game. I loved it. I have to learn soccer more.
Yeah.
But I like watching it. I just have to learn it more, I think.
I feel you. State Street or Redwood?
Traffic wise?
Just the street. Which one you rolling with?
State Street. I got to go with State Street. I guess because that's where I grew up on mostly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounded really bad, but okay.
Yeah. State Street.
I grew up on State.
Not even that bad. It ain't that serious.
All right. BYU or Utah?
Utah for sure.
Nice watch or a nice chain?
Watch.
Okay. I like it.
You're not getting robbed. And people are more looking at like your chain more than your like, your wrist.
Okay.
So
Studio solo or studio with other artists?
I'm a solo person. I'm willing to work with artists, like cool, but I like going by myself. There's nothing wrong with it. Like I prefer it.
Back in the 90s, remember when you would see all the rappers and it was like 10 guys and it's like, who's the
30 of
rapper
them.
in here?
Right. It's like you don't know. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like if it's not your group again, or it's not the people you're actually working with or got a paid collaboration, whatever, it's one of those things where it's like, I'll go solo. I don't want distractions.
I dig it. Crown Burger or Apollo Burger?
Apollo.
Whoa.
It's crazy. I know.
Yo.
I know.
Utahns.
It's down
Get
the
'em.
street. It's down the street.
That's
it's down
crazy.
the street from my house.
All right. Take a plane or road trip it?
Plane. I hate sitting in a car for long hours.
Okay.
Longer than a 5-hour trip to Vegas. I can't do it.
Darren Williams or Donovan Mitchell?
Can we skip that one?
Not at all. That's the last one. Both had great careers here.
Great careers. Phenomenal. Dang, I might have to go with Donovan. I rock with Darren Williams. Like it's cool. Like he made Utah what it was besides AK-47. I just feel like
Boozer was there too, though.
Boozer was there too for sure. So I'm like, we had a nice 3. I don't know. I'm a renege. I think I'm gonna take Darren. I'm gonna take Darren Williams for sure. I take that back. I'm sorry.
That's a fun one to think about, man.
That's a debatable one, but yeah, I'll definitely take Darren. I'm gonna take Darren on that one.
All right, David Davenchy. It is that time, man. I want you to hit us with your socials. Where can we follow you? And then I want you to introduce your new single.
For sure. My name is David Davenchy again. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter, DavidDavenchy. No capitals, no spaces. And you can also find me on United Masters. And my latest single is Ocean, featuring Federo. Go ahead and stream that.
But let's get into it right here on 92.5 The Beat. David Davenchy, new single, Ocean.
I'm up in your ocean, girl, I'm overboard. But I don't need no